Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Cameron, here again, and today I'm going to be doing a Vall mission. As you probably heard from the title, I've actually never gone to Vall. Like, it dawned on me that I haven't quite visited every place, everything in the Kerbal system yet, and it kind of actually I thought about it long and hard, and I was like I realized I'd never gone to Vall. So you know what? I'm gonna make a video of me going to Vall because it sounds like a fun thing to do. So yeah, basically now I built the little orbiter part, and then this is gonna be the lander part. But okay, so you probably noticed in the very start of the beginning of the video, the very first thing I did was I put that little cone on top of the capsule, and then I put the parachutes in that. Don't ever do that. That is a big mistake. Everything about this mission went pretty good. Everything about it, the landing part, the getting there part, all that went pretty good, except for the very last part with those parachutes. Whatever you do, just make sure the parachutes will open up. I guess that's what I'm saying. Because everything went fine until that very last part, and you know that I don't like the quick save, so I kind of had to turn my Vall mission into a skydiving mission, if you get my drift. But yeah, anyway, so now I'm finishing up the lander part. I put some of that groundbreaking science experiments on there just because I like that. It gets me some extra science. This is science mode, so we'll see how much science we can get, I guess. We're going to be carrying 3 Kerbals from Kerbin to Vall, and then doing a transposition. So that top rocket is going to dock with the that bottom rocket, and then it's gonna that top rocket will stay in orbit, similar to how the Apollo style mission went. With the lunar orbital rendezvous method. Basically, the same thing I'm doing, just greater distances, right? And then there's me putting the escape tower. I kind of have to have a certain look to my rockets. I'm like I said, I'm very OCD about this Kerbal Space Program, and that includes my building style too. So the rockets always have to look kind of somewhat aesthetically pleasing to me. So that's kind of why I usually use a launch escape towers, because I don't know if I've ever actually had to use a launch escape tower in the game, and I don't know if I even I don't even think I stage it the correct action group. So it's pretty useless. It's just there for looks, essentially. And then now you can see I'm putting the parachutes on the side of the capsule. I should have, Cameron, don't change that. Leave it as is. But me being a dumbass, I was like, well, I think my parachutes will be fine that are in there, because I don't need those. Yep, there, I just took them off. Yep, I was like, oh, I got them. It's fine. I got extra parachutes. We'll be fine. We'll always pack extra parachutes, I guess. That is the lesson of this video, is always pack extra parachutes and make sure that they work. Alright, so now we'll go and take off here. As you can see, I had to align the planets to get a proper transfer window. With with Jewel and Kerbin, you'll want kind of a 40, a little bit more than a 90-degree angle. It's like a 94 degree angle, probably, maybe. I'm not exact sure. I just kind of go by look. I'm not very precise when I do it. I don't even use a transfer window planner mods or anything like that. I just really eyeball everything, and that's also why I overbuild my rockets too, because I really, I'm not really that precise when it comes to flying it. I just kind of eyeball most of it, and then most of the data most of the things that the on-screen stuff gives you, it gives you enough data and information anyway. So I usually just kind of go with that. Obviously, if you're trying to do more complex things like very, very accurate and small rockets, or even if you're playing real solar system, or the real scale, that's you probably would want to use some different mods that would help you out a little bit, because Delta V is kind of hard to come by when you're using the real solar system scale, because the real solar system scale is probably Well, I don't even know. I don't even know how many times bigger it is, but it's huge. Imagine Jool. Jool is like the biggest planet in this in Kerbin or in KSP, and it is massive. It's a gas giant, and it's how many ever times bigger than Kerbin? Well, Jool is almost as big as Earth. If you think about that, yes, that's crazy. Jool is almost the same size as Earth. If you were to think about the scale. All right. Anyway, off of that little science topic, now I just did my transposition. As you can see, I held on to that second stage booster to do my mid-course corrections, just because it had like 100 meters per second of delta V, and that's like exactly what I needed to do my like course corrections there. So I wanted to just pop off the rest of that delta V, do my transposition in deep space there, and then we'll just use that engine on my command module for the rest of it. So now here I kind of struggled a little bit trying to get a gravity assist or a flyby of Tylo. I tried lathe, true, but they're just kind of in the wrong spot. So it just took me a while. I was just playing. You can usually always get it. It's just depending on where you do your maneuvers and course corrections. But it just took me a little bit longer than normal to try to get into an orbit here with using the least amount of delta V. At first I was like, well, I guess I could use 500 meters per second of delta V, but that's not going to leave me with a lot of spare. Actually, it turns out it probably would have. I did have plenty of delta V left over, but yeah, I want to do it efficiently. So as you can see, it was like 4 meters per second of delta V, and I actually overburned it because I only had to burn for like, a half a second. So I had to use my reaction control to actually adjust myself backwards to ward off some of that extra delta V I had just accidentally given myself. So here's me coming up close to the Julian system. We are getting ready for that gravity assist flyby of Tylo. There we go. And see how I was just able to do a flyby. And just because I did that flyby, I'm already in a stable orbit. Actually, technically, it's not a stable orbit because the next flyby of Tylo would eject me straight from the Julian system. But as you can see, I'm doing a burn here that will properly put me into a stable orbit. Well, I guess, stable orbit is kind of a definitive term. I don't know. It's not necessarily stable. I don't know if I would encounter Vall at some point, if that would eject me from the Julian system. But it doesn't matter anyway, because that is my target. I'm trying to land on Vall. So we'll give her a shot now. As you can see, I kind of was doing a little bit of an orbit dance, just waiting for the right timing, and then there we go. Yeah, I'm coming in, flying in for that Vall approach, and then we'll do a burn, orbital insertion burn, and then we'll be in a stable orbit around a Vall, which is pretty cool. Like I said, this is my first time ever doing this, so it's kind of cool. I actually did kind of goof up the landing here a little bit. You'll see what I mean, just a little bit, but I definitely came in. I definitely kind of underestimated my thrust to weight ratio on the rocket engine that I'm using for this size of a lander. Or for how big this moon is, I guess. You know what? I'm not sure what my difficulties were, but basically, I thought I was gonna be overpowered with this rocket engine. Turns out, it's not as overpowered as I thought, because at some point down here, I realized I'm coming in way too fast. Right about here, it looks kind of suspicious. Things are just moving way too fast, so I have to actually start burning radial out. And as you can see, I'm even using my monopropellant. And as you can see, yeah, that was a very clutch move, because I'm hovering just above the surface. I had to ward off that extra velocity. But you know what? It worked. The advantages of being a good KSP player is I was able to judge that and just kind of make that quick call and make the corrective maneuvers. But anyway, we made it. We landed on Vall, guys. And this is my first time doing it, so we're gonna drop some science experiments down, the groundbreaking experiments, and using an engineer to drop the electric producing part of it, and then using a scientist to drop the actual science parts of it, and then yeah, so that's pretty much all there is to really do on the surface. I'm going to go fly around and try to find maybe like a surface feature to pick up, because again, this is science mode, and look at all those volcanoes, those ice volcanoes on the surface. That's pretty cool. But yeah, okay, so we'll pick this up. That's pretty cool. And then we'll fly back, and then we'll meet back up. We'll meet back up with the spaceship that it's in orbit, and we will head back to Kerbin, because it's kind of boring here. So let's but look at that view. That view is just beautiful. And there we go with a set stage. And now the problem is I don't have quite as much fuel in my ascent stage as I did in my descent stage. Now I don't know why I always do that, but for some reason I guess landing is just more important to me than getting the Kerbals back home, because I always end up with more delta V in my descent stage for landing than I do with my ascent stage for rendezvousing back with the return spacecraft. I don't know I think it's just because I build the ascent stage first, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool, got it. There's enough delta V. Obviously we're fine. And then I build like the second stage or the descent stage, and then I'm like, oh shit, I need like batteries and like reaction control and all that. But then I put that in the upper stage, and then I kind of just forget about the delta V in the upper stage. So you know what? It works because I had some fuel left in my other, or actually I had a lot of fuel left in my command module. So we'll just, we're fine. I'm not sweating it. We're gonna be able to dock just fine. And then now here's me catching up with the command module in orbit. I actually am using the command module to rendezvous with the ascent stage of my lander, but same thing. And then there's me just pushing myself close. We got a nice close encounter. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that it's just pretty easy. I just use my nav ball the entire time. And then there we go. And then we'll switch to my ascent stage. And then now on this one, this particular rendezvous, I set both spacecraft to look at radial in, radial out. And then, or actually normal and then anti-normal. And then, or no, radial out, radial in. But yeah, either or. You can do either or. They both work the same. And then it was just easy to have them both line up like nice and easy. So now I am on my way to lining up my transfer window for Kerbin and Jewel. Same thing when you're going back. It's always the same transfer window if you're going there or coming back. It's just that period of time when you want to do it. So like I said before, like a 94, 95 degree, maybe 100 degree angle, I'm not sure. But yeah, but as you can see, if you were to draw a line from Jewel to Kerbin and a line from Kerbin a line from Jewel to Kerbin, a line from Jewel to the sun, and then a line from the Kerbin to the sun, it would make like a 95 degree angle or whatnot. But anyway, there's me. I just ejected my ascent stage for that extra delta V gains, those big gains, bro. But I didn't really need it. I had a lot of delta V left over. But you know what? It's the thought that counts, right? Granted, those Kerbals were probably just now deprived of a cool little living space. They're already cramped in that capsule. God damn it. They probably hate me. Oh well. It's whatever. They're expendable. It's not even like the cool Kerbals. It's not even like Jeb or Val or Bob or Bill. It's lame Kerbals. Stupid lame. I don't even know your names. Lame Kerbals. Why are you even here? That's right. You're here because you're the least cared about. Stupid Kerbals. I'm just kidding. I love Kerbals. They're awesome. They kind of what make the whole game the fun. You know what I mean? It makes it fun because it gives you like something to like care about. Like you want these things to live, but at the same time they're not humans. So it makes it easier to swallow when your rocket explodes and your parachutes fail to deploy. Speaking of parachutes failing to deploy, this is what I was talking about in the beginning of the video. Right here, I come in, everything looks nominal, I eject my service module, I come in, I aero brake, everything looks good, and then cannot deploy parachutes, stowed. No! Well, there is that skydiving mission I was talking about. We just lost all of that science. That, like, 4,000 science points worth of science. Just lost it all into the ocean. But, on the bright side, at least the Kerbals all survived. As you can see, we can skydive in perfect formation here. Look at that. Everything's all perfect. We'll go in for that splashdown, make sure they're all good. Try to get them nice and close to each other so they can keep themselves warm and company while they're waiting to die, probably, because there's no rescue crew that's going to come out this far. But anyway, guys, that'll be it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you feel bad that my Kerbals didn't make it home in a capsule, please give me a like for the moral support. Also, please subscribe if you haven't already. I really enjoy all of the support I've gotten already, guys. I really can't ask for too much more. Keep it up. And then let me know in the comments if you want to see anything else. Other than that, have a good one. Bye, guys.